Je n'ai pas de temps pour toi.
Je n'ai pas de temps pour toi.
Yeah, I can't say it,
Je n'ai
but
pas de temps pour toi.
Mama Snark and I have time for you, and we're going to take the next couple minutes to talk to you. Welcome, everybody. I'm back in South Carolina, one of my many homes. Yes, I have many homes like Sunny. I just don't have one in exotic places.
I
Well,
was going to
maybe.
say, we are not announcing a General Hospital Snark retreat to David's private island.
Well, and I'm in South Carolina right now where there's been a lot of debris on the ground. So
Yeah.
you may not want to come visit this paradise quite yet. Anyway, welcome to our fourth Snarkcast, General Hospital Snarkcast with Mama Snark and myself, Snark Jr. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. So where do you want to start, Mama?
Let's start with Lucky. Let's start with Lucky.
Ugh, lucky. He finally somebody made Jason look mature.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
That's a really,
I can't donate. I want to go back to Africa. Where? $10,000. He's taken money from Jason before, and
wow.
so this is not the first time. Yeah, he's a big crybaby. I don't
I
know what's worse, man pain or crybaby.
I had forgotten this about Lucky because, as I've stated, I basically have General Hospital amnesia right after I watch it. It's a wonder I even remember what to say on the podcast. I did not remember him being quite as skeezy looking. He's skeezy looking, people. And he's acting like a big dumb baby. Stop being a big dumb baby, Lucky. Gal.
Yeah. And I sort of missed the Greg Vaughn years, but I know Greg Vaughn was also a cry baby Lucky as well. But he got into all different things. But it's
Well,
just,
and again, it's the way he's being written as well.
yeah,
You,
but
you
just
know,
not a good character. And I mean, he's got all the bad qualities of Luke and none of the good ones.
well, has he matured at all while he's been gone? I mean, when a character's been gone that long, I would like to see some growth.
Yeah.
What I would have preferred, Lucky comes back and people are like, dude, you have really come into your body. You are acting like an adult. You're doing awesome. And of course, that wouldn't have made for good television, or would it? I don't know. We'll never know, right? I don't
And
know.
it
That
took him
whole
long enough to see Aiden, but we finally got there and I thought, oh, okay, here, a mature scene.
it is a mature scene because Aiden looks like he's old enough to be the dad. Let's just say the obvious. I mean, the young man, he's only 21, you guys. He's the people who are saying he's 36, not true. He's 21. Now, he happens to be a very mature looking 21 because he's supposed to be playing a 15-year-old, and sadly, it kind of missed a little bit. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's doing a great job.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think he's doing a really good job with the role. And I mean, I don't know why people are so attached to the last Aiden. He was Aiden for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, like I've joked, we do need our little cheat sheet as to which boy belongs to whom. I don't know that, but 15 or 12 years ago, whenever they were having all these babies, somebody should have stopped and said, when we get to casting these young adults, let's make sure they don't look like each other. Nobody said that. So
Well,
they
and they brought
had.
everybody on at once.
Oh, that too.
If it was like they'd it reintroduced them one at a time, gradually we would have gotten to know them. But
Right, and
I
put them
still
in
get confused.
situations where we would recognize them. For example, when they introduced the last new Aiden, we saw him in the kitchen. Oh, Aiden
Yeah,
in the kitchen.
that's it.
We can follow that, right?
Yeah.
But even when Rocco showed up the other day, overhearing Lucky, I was like, okay, wait, whose kid is this? I mean, seriously, my brain has got genealogical family group sheets going through it, and I have no idea who's
Yeah.
related to whom. Right at this moment, it feels like everyone in the entire town is related to Lucky or Carly. And I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. So let's
So
talk
start with
about, all right.
that.
So our last podcast, we were announcing that Lucas was going to show up. And then later that day on the Thursday episode, he waltzed into Carly's house. And I have to say, this dude hit the ground running. Bravo. I feel that he has wholly embodied Lucas, and it's going to be great. He's fantastic.
But I remember the Luke and Noah storyline As the World Turns because even though I didn't watch As the World Turns, I had friends who were drawn to that storyline, and they were a big, big hit. Um, my only complaint is that Lucas should have been around the entire time. You
Mhm.
know, this, but I get, again, sort of like Rick, they seem to be reintroducing him in a better way than Lucky. Because he's coming back, he's interacting with everybody he knows, which I always love when people come back. It's like throw me to see with that person. How are they related? How do they know each other? How do they, you have to go through the mental
That's what I said. I
gymnastics.
mean, I've been
Yeah,
going, it is a mental exercise trying to figure out who's a Spencer, who's a Jones, how are they? I mean, I don't even know.
right. But I think because they gave him the excuse of he needed to get away after Wiley, and he couldn't deal with seeing Wiley every day and everything. And now he's good, he's okay, he's back, he's moving on. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
Yeah.
And that was one of the questions this week was why are Maxie and Lucas uh, having scenes together? Well, they're cousins because Maxie's father is Frisco Jones, and Frisco's brother was Tony Jones, who is Lucas's adopted father.
Thank you.
And she also played a big part in his coming out story back in the aught 2000s or whatever.
I'm just so happy to have Maxie back being Maxie.
Yeah.
In fact, she's of all the characters, I mean, we can really see the growth in her, right? Maxie
Yes.
is now the smartest person in the room when we get the ladies together. And I love that they've done that for her. I think it's fantastic. I loved her interchange with Lucas as she said, yeah, Spinelli and I are together forever this time, or however she said it. I like, yeah, it's about dang time you
Yeah.
guys established
Yeah.
that. We don't get to see it, so it's good to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I can deal with that. I can deal with characters that are on the canvas that we don't see a lot.
right.
As long as we get those little updates.
Right,
Here.
exactly, exactly. Like, for example, we should have been hearing drops about Lucas over the last year. Remember when Stephen Lars's name was brought up 2 weeks ago and the whole snarkosphere went crazy? Oh, Lord, Stephen Lars is coming back. And lo and
Yeah.
behold, he's coming back. It's not going to be for very long. He's just dropping in probably to
I
do what.
wonder I wonder if they'll give him scenes with Olivia because that was his girlfriend when he was arrested.
Yep, I
People remember
wonder.
that. Yeah.
And I wonder, I'm sure it's going to be him and Heather because it'll be fun to watch those two together.
Well, as Allie Mills said months ago, there's this great story for her and they're writing all this stuff for her and she's so thrilled. And I mean, again, that whole hip replacement thing, I mean, I think it's a little more palatable right now because Rick's involved and they've got her rooming with Alexa. Today, it's going to be the big Laura Lucky reunion. So there'll be more tears.
There'll be more
Probably more
tears.
Luckies,
And
but
yeah. So the other person I wanted to talk about who's really kind of on my nerves is Natalia. I have said this in Snarks, and I'm going to reiterate again. She feels to me like a soap opera star who got lost off her real soap and somehow wandered into the set of General Hospital, and they just adopted her because she doesn't feel like she belongs on the canvas at all.
and I think I've said this before in the Snarks, it's confusing if you're including All My Children's Pine Valley and One Life to Live's Landview and Loving's Corinth in your mise en scene.
Yeah,
Then be consistent. If you're going to have Nora Buchanan come from One Life to Live and what was Walt Willie's character?
oh yeah, Jackson
Jackson
Montgomery.
Montgomery coming from Pine Valley, and also too, Anna Devane's sister Alex was on All My Children, and then eventually Anna, and eventually Robin. Then keep it consistent because now I just go, it's Dr. Maria Santos Gray.
Right.
Shouldn't she be at the hospital?
And also, speaking of introducing new characters, her introduction was a hot mess. This opinionated, narcissistic, homophobic theater mom. Oh my gosh, who wants to see more of her? And now they're trying to shift her into they're trying, you know what they do?
Pivoting, yeah.
Yeah, they know they blew it. And so they're trying to pivot by making her a businesswoman. And I honestly feel that there isn't going to be a long-term relationship between them and Sunny. This is merely the writers are using this to bust the alibi. And then
Because
when they bust the alibi, then what? What is the end game for Sunny? That's what I want to know
and
because
it's
I feel
another
like they've written themselves into a corner a bit.
well, it's another case of Frank doubling down. Oh, the audience hates her and there's no chemistry between her and Sunny. Let's go with that. Should we get to some questions?
Yeah, let's go. We asked you yesterday on the page what you'd like us to chat about, and you asked some questions. And David is going to see how many questions he can answer in 2 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Why are they bringing back so many characters all at once? Good question. Well, their ratings are tanking. So if you notice, they're bringing back as many name legacy characters at once. Lucky, Lulu, Lucas, a lot of L's. Scott Reeves is blowing into town briefly. Does that mean he will be a donor for Lulu? I think everybody's a donor for Lulu. Is Valentine coming back? Does anybody know? I think he actually might be coming back
His
because
series got canceled. Yeah.
right. Yeah. Where the hecky darn have Laura and Kevin been? Laura, aka Jeannie Francis, has very liberal vacation time, like Tony Geary did when he was Luke. So she disappears, and they've got to give her a reason. But she's back. If you watched yesterday, does anyone have an idea of what they are doing with Geo? No.
Geo.
Can we just be done
Okay.
with Sunny? Yes.
So let's
Yeah.
start now and talk about our most obnoxious moments of the week.
Oh my goodness.
Because
Oh
right now,
yeah.
for me, you have to remember, I'm a grandmother. I'm the mom of four. I've had kids. When Gio encouraged Violet to beat up the kid, now I know you're like, he's from Bensonhurst, he's from Brooklyn. I'm like, oh my gosh, if he were my kid, I would be, no, I don't smack kids, but I'd be having words. I'd be saying, wait a minute, dude, what are you doing here? Anyway, that was my
It's on the level of Natalia's homophobia. Like in this day
so
and age,
obnoxious.
and a kid that age would
Yeah.
know better.
He's supposed to be 21, you guys. I know it feels like he's 15 because that's how they're writing him. And he just is not meshing with, I almost feel like he should be hanging out with giant old Aiden now. Actually, Aiden is older than the character.
I was
Aiden,
gonna
the,
say,
yeah.
I almost feel like Mark Teschner got it wrong. He should have put Geo as Aiden and Aiden as Geo.
Yeah, but then Aiden would have to stop baking and start playing the violin. So what's your
My
most obnoxious moment, David?
I would have to say Diane coming to the principal's office to litigate for Violet. I mean, I know they love Diane. We all love Diane, but that was a little too much. They could have I mean, and maybe they did it for comic effect. Guess what? Didn't work.
It did not work.
When is Ned going to use his info about Drew and Willow kissing? Good question. We don't know because
See,
it's General Hospital.
right. And so do you notice? Okay, I've noticed a couple of things that have shifted with this new writers. First of all, they love throwing as many characters into one episode as they possibly can. I mean, there must have been 150 people on set yesterday. I was insane. Number two, the scenes are much shorter and choppier than they were about 6 to 9 months ago. Remember, we were luxuriating in those
We're
long
going back to
scenes?
old, so yeah.
There are days when I'm going back to Snark and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got 35 seconds of about 17 different stories in here. How am I supposed to do this?
Why wasn't Ethan, Valerie, and Lucas tested as possible donors? Well, Lucas just got to town, so I'm sure he could be tested. Valerie, come on. When was the last time we saw Valerie?
He's on another soap right now.
2019? And Ethan, yeah, Ethan's. What is the purpose of getting rid of established characters viewers are invested in after chipping away at the traits that make the character interesting? Is the show tanking in the ratings? Yes. Ron Carlivati got fired because the ratings dropped to 2.0. General Hospital's current ratings are lower than Days of Our Lives was when it was taken off the network. General Hospital is in its 23rd consecutive week at 1.4. It has never been that low ever. And maybe that's why the scenes are so choppy and so quick, and everybody's just been thrown at the screen because they don't know what to do. They're in panic mode over there.
That's, when you're making decisions out of desperation, they are almost always bad decisions.
Not good. Yeah. When does the network come in and just say enough? And I agree with everybody on the internet, on Twitter, X, whatever. It's they got to get a new executive producer. He is
Yeah, did you
just,
see? I don't know if you saw, but somebody has, what is it, actnow.org, the one where you can write petitions. Somebody has written a petition to get Frank fired, and they want people to sign it. It won't make any people. This is not how that works.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it hasn't worked with Kelly Monaco so far. So,
No.
yeah,
And
yeah.
here's, please know, we in no way want the show to go away. We love the show. The show is why we're here. And we're just,
Yeah,
our criticism, our snarking of the show is not so that it will be tanked. It's so that hopefully they'll listen and go, oh, right, maybe we shouldn't have done that. And we'll do better next time.
well, it's like, yeah, we want the show to be better.
Yeah,
And it's more fun to snark when it's better.
it is. It really is.
Weirdly enough.
Although, yeah.
I'd rather
So
nitpick at things than, like, oh, the Kelly's bag is now the Bobby's bag. I mean, it's really sad when I go back and I try to do the From the Snark Archives, and I'm like, oh, I can't use that. That just happened last year. And then I look at the date and it was 3 years ago, and we're still in the same storyline.
that's
That's sad.
depressing. That is depressing. Okay, it's time for our favorite segment, text messages from Wicked Stepmother.
Oh, see, I need my little fan for this. I'm verklempt.
So this was last Monday, and she said, Brooklyn is a good character, except for her mouth. Please close it in your close-ups. There's more than one way to react just before a cut to commercial. Try a few other facial expressions, okay? And then she writes a note, see emojis.
I actually almost like when I'm a day or two behind because then I can read the snarks. Watch the episode and go, yep.
Your
Yep,
guide
love
to
that
the
one.
episode.
It is. It is. I mean, there's a lot. I'm surprised there's a lot more people now who are like, I was gonna start watching again, but then you told me what's going on, and so now I'm
I
not.
know they use us as their barometer as to
Yeah.
whether they
We are
should.
we are actually contributing to the low ratings. We
No, no, no.
apologize from the bottom of our hearts. We do not intend you to not watch the show,
No,
which is
no,
why I
no.
purposely do not try to capture every storyline that goes on that day
No,
necessarily.
neither do I.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if a filler is particularly ridiculous, yeah, we'll snark it. But if it's a filler just for filler's sake to throw people in to get their contract obligations, no, I'm not going
Yeah.
to do that. And it feels like that sometimes at the end of the month. It's like, oh, wow, so and so still has four scenes that we need to book them for. Let's write them in here. Stick these random people in these scenes.
And as much as I said that the show was moving, the 12 episodes I binged, there's still a lot of recapping.
So much recapping. And here we have
Days of Our Lives
Christina.
gets criticized because they do a lot of, hey, what were you thinking? And then we have a flashback to what they were thinking. But I'd rather have that than have to listen to recapping. I'm okay with like a flashback. And that's the one thing, again, due to the current SAG-AFTRA rules, we can't get those nice, juicy flashbacks like we used to. Because that was the one thing I did like, the fact that we could flash back to when Lulu was born, because it's the same
So,
Lucky.
what is the rule that's preventing that, David?
Well, the rule that's preventing that and why you don't see many clips anymore is that actors are now paid for flashbacks. They never used to be. They're paid for flashbacks. If you see their photo on the mantelpiece, they're paid for that.
That's very
Again,
interesting. I did not know that.
with budgets being what they are on daytime TV. You remember when a character used to die on a soap and everybody would come to the funeral and they'd all have their big long flashback scenes. They don't do that anymore. Days still does it. I mean, when Victor Kiriakis, actor John Aniston, died, it was like weeks of great flashbacks and memories and things like that. But for the most part, soaps, they can't do it anymore.
Yeah, well, I would imagine that in a situation like that, they said, okay, we need to spend our budget on this. So let's do this for the most impact. But, those decisions, as we've said before, the reason Frank has his job is because he comes in under budget
At a
all the
budget.
time. And that makes people happy because the
No,
people at the
network
top,
now.
the people at the top are not artists. They are business people.
And that is why GH is still hanging on, because so it's sort of a nasty circle we can't get out of.
Yeah, the
Like,
circle.
Frank brings the show in under budget, network is happy, ratings are tanking. Frank brings the show in under budget, network is happy.
Yeah, there you go.
It's tough. It's tough out
Well,
there.
I think we've chuntered on long enough to our people this week. We wish everyone a great week. Those of you who are cleaning up after natural disasters, we send our love and prayers that you are safe and well and that things get fixed soon for you guys. We're so sorry about this. Yeah, we are so happy you're here. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about us because, hello, we're funny, kind of, sort of. Anyway, bye everyone.
Till next week.